brands just need to go ahead and listen to me, because I have talked to the community. The community has told me that they want to see these palettes come back, and they tripping. Just bring them back. We would be so happy. Hey guys, this is Ashley. Welcome on back to my channel. So today I am talking about around 7-ish limited edition palettes that these brands just need to come on, just bring it back, give it another run, or make it permanent. But before I get started, if you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you're oldie but goodie, welcome on back. My name is Ashley. I have a doctorate in pharmacy and I love makeup. So that's how you get Dr. Ash in her makeup, and eyeshadow really is my jam. So we're talking about eyeshadow palettes once again today. And today I was thinking, I was like, you know what? These are limited edition palettes, and every time I show them on my channel, somebody's like, I wish I would have got my hands on this. I wish I could have got that palette. That palette missed me. And it could have missed you for various different reasons. Maybe you weren't into makeup like you are now. Maybe you just didn't have the funds to purchase these palettes. I mean, because nobody has infinite money around here. And if you do, let me borrow some. Or maybe you just didn't believe the hype. Maybe you just didn't think like, oh, these palettes are going to be limited edition. They're going to bring them back. It's not going to go away. I have time to get it. Or maybe it just wasn't a color story for you. Maybe you just felt like, you know, I really didn't really like the color story. But now that you look back, you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I had purchased this palette. So there's various different reasons why we don't get our hands on palettes, and we all go down that little walk of regret. Like, oh my God, I wish I could have picked it up. You know, maybe we had to adult. Maybe it just sold out too fast before we can purchase it. And I mean, it's like I said, it's just various different reasons. So I have about 7 palettes. It's probably really closer to maybe 8, 9, because 3 of them come in a group. But the first palette that I'm going to start off with is, honey, Alien Cosmetics. Just come on down. Just come on down. Now, you know, 2021 has been the year of the shimmer, the duochrome palette. So you cannot just drop All I Ever Wanted palette, do a pre-order, say maybe if it's a lot of interest, I'll bring it back, which there is a lot of interest in it, and say it's limited edition. Honey, I feel like this is like a Birkin bag. Like, nobody wants Birkin bag makeup. Like, you know, only just that 1, 2, 3 people have it because it's so exclusive. And I'm not dogging the brands, but I'm just saying, Alien, bring this back. People want this palette, even though it's expensive. Every time I show this palette, talk about it, they're like, I wish I could have got my hands on it. And I agree with them. The color story is gorgeous. You're getting 20 fabulous shimmers. Yes, it was expensive, so maybe some people couldn't pick it up on the first go round. But I also believe that maybe the pre-order just sold out so fast, because I feel like if I hadn't been sitting in traffic on Instagram at the moment I wouldn't have got my hands on this palette, because we knew it was coming. It was on my radar. But the thing was, it was just like, we didn't know when the pre-order was going to be available. And I was like, oh my God, Lowlights, the highlighter palette is available. And I was like, y'all, All I Ever Want is available for pre-order also. So it's gorgeous. Everybody wants to get their hands on this palette. And yes, there are other comparable palettes on the market, but the Alien formula has just been like tried and true by now. And we love it. The girls love it. Bring it back. It's all I ever wanted. So of course we want All I Ever Wanted. Another beautiful palette that just needs to come back. And it's just so sad, because I feel like this is one of the brands, maybe like top selling palettes. Well, it could be, it's probably not, but it's up there. A lot of people want it. Every time I go into Ulta, it's like some hope that maybe there's one sticking around that I can buy it and give to a friend that really wants this palette. And it's the Juvia's Place Try palette. This palette is exquisite. It's beautiful. If you love green eyeshadows, if you love some shifty shades, it's a complete color story. Because prior to this, I kind of felt, well, not all the palettes, but some of the palettes, like maybe the Zulu palette and maybe the what was it, festival palette. The 9 pans, they were a little like everywhere, and people couldn't comprehend the story. You had to be an extreme eyeshadow lover. You had to be experienced. You had to be able to visualize your color stories to put some of those things together. But this story was complete when this palette came out. I want to say this palette came out in let me look at my notes. Okay, so around December 2018, and I did have a video on this when this palette came out. Like, everybody was in love. It was a little bit different from what we had, and nobody thought like this was gonna be discontinued. But there's some people who are like just getting into makeup, and they're like, oh my god, I wish I can get my hands on this particular palette. And the sad part about it, like I said, is like if I go into Ulta Beauty, it just looks like they're out of stock. But when you go on the website, it's no trace of this palette at all. I mean, you have some beautiful gold shades like this shade Chaga. It has some dual chrome action to it. The shade Coral as well. You got a grungy matte. You got your teals. You have your pops of greens. It's just a great 9-pan palette with excellent quality. Of course, it's affordable because it's Juvia's place. So, honey, Chi-Chi, bring it back. We want it. Another palette, and this is funny, okay? Because let me tell you, because this brand cranks out eyeshadow palettes like nobody's business. Like nobody's business. They have their own lab. I mean, so they could just really produce it. They could bring it back. They could drop it as a fall release. Yes, because it's very fall appropriate. And I am talking about the Colourpop Good Sport palette. People love this palette. I love this palette. It's one of my favorite Colourpop palettes of all time. Because A, the color story is bomb. And it's like, okay, Colourpop, you came through. The quality is excellent. Look at this gorgeous, grungy, warm color story. It's so freaking beautiful. The shade here, what is it, Rookie, as you can see, it's well loved. It's a rose gold with like blue aqua reflex. Where we do that at? The two, oh my god, let me tell you, if you're like my skin complexion or a little bit deeper, these two transition shades, High Hopes and Hooky, wonderful. You have grungy greens, you have that bright golden green. So this row right here, you got purples, you got the pop of yellow, you have a classic champagne Wild Out that is beautiful as well. This palette was so well done. And it was one of those palettes, like, as soon as I saw it, I knew I needed it because the color story was just so different, a little unique for Colourpop. It's very grungy. The packaging is great. Of course, it was affordable because it was Colourpop. So I don't understand. Like, this is a fan favorite, honey. Bring it back. The next palette I'm going to talk about is the palette that I'm wearing on my eyes today. Honey, can we just take a moment? Can we just take a moment to appreciate the beauty of Colored Raine, Safari Raine. I put this in my video of if I could only keep 10 palettes, and this was the volume 2 because I did this video before. Actually, it made volume 1 and volume 2. The volume 2 video that just came out a couple of days ago, I actually today because I'm filming it the same day, but when you guys see this, it will be a couple of days ago, but you know what I mean. But I did that in collaboration with Lynette. And I had a subscriber say, like, I wish I could have gotten Safari Raine. Safari Raine did come back, limited edition. So I will give Lorraine the credit on that. She did bring it back because so many people wanted it after they saw Jackie Ina's video about why did y'all let this palette flop. I don't think the palette flopped. I think it sold out and it was like you couldn't get your hands on it anymore. And the color story is gorgeous. Do you see this? And honey, even today, after this palette has come out in 2019, the mattes, the shimmers were still such a joy to play with. So in my crease, I have the shade Clay, and then I went in with Congo Basin, outer corner with Jungle, and oh my gosh, Amazon Basin, honey, I just truly appreciated this shade for the very first time. Like, I really appreciated that shade, but I really appreciated it today. It's, I've used it before, but today I was just like, yes, give it to me. Then I popped a little Green Valley because I was over here just mixing shimmers, so that's a little bit on outer corner. Then I went in with ever so slight amount of Tigress, just to give it that little orange pop that you see there. And then a little toucan on the bottom lash line. Honey, excellent. Excellent palette. So I know you guys could do it because let me tell you, when Colored Raine Queen of Hearts came out, everybody loved that palette. That palette was supposed to be a limited edition too, but that palette blew up. And so it ended up becoming permanent. So bring it back. The next palette I don't have in my possession. So yeah, I'm salty too. Okay, it happens. And let me just scooch on over just a tad bit so I'm in focus and I can put a picture right here. And this is the Kaleidos Deep Sea Luster palette. This is their very first palette, and I remember watching Angelica Nyquist's video at the time. I want to say it was 2018-ish, and it was her leave it on the wish list. It was her version of Will I Buy It? But she talked about this palette. She was really kind of unfamiliar with the brand either, but then she got sent it in PR. And I was just like, yes, I need to get it. This is gorgeous. I love it. And then I decided to be an adult. Ashleigh, you don't need that. You have colors like that. You don't need to purchase that palette. What are you doing? Don't get it. So I was an adult and I didn't get it. And guess what? It is gone for good. They are talking about they can't even find the ingredients that they use to make the palette or discontinue. What? Honey, if you don't figure out how to reformulate that thing and bring it back, like you can't even find one on Macari. So let me tell you guys, in February, hold on, I'm sorry. I'm like, first of all, side note, these fireworks, these people are getting on my nerves with these fireworks, okay? Like, every day, every single day. And what makes it even more worse is the fact that today we have had thunderstorms, flood watches, tornado touchdown, tornado sirens going off. I live in the middle of the city, guys. Like, you don't ever hear tornado warnings. And y'all want to be outside popping fireworks. Anywho, but back to the story. I went on Macari, maybe February, and I was just like, because I bought another palette that I'm going to talk about in a second. And I was just like, let me see if I can find Deep Sea Luster. Do you know somebody had the nerve to advertise it? Well, I guess I didn't read the caption close enough because it was like $30-something. I was like, yes, the price point is wonderful. It's slightly used. Deep Sea Luster. Wedding. Yes. Like, can't tell me nothing. Yes. Palette. In the bed doing a happy dance. Like, yes. So excited. She was advertising that she want one. So then I got refunded my money 2 days later. And she was like, read it closely. It says that I'm looking for a Deep Sea Luster palette. Why do people do that on Macari? That is some annoying mess. Or it might have been Poshmark. Either way, it was annoying. I don't appreciate it. You bursted I just knew I had my hands on that palette. Okay, I'm gonna calm down. So the next palette or the next set of palettes I have to talk about is Pat McGrath. Mom, what are you doing? Mother, what are we doing? How are these not available? People love these. People want these. I don't get it. So, okay, I was salty, just a little bit, because this was never my color story, okay? This one, I was never quite interested in the platinum bronze, you know. And then I woke up one day in 2021, and I was like, I want the platinum bronze. But I was able to find it because, you know, this palette was on sale for the longest for like $25, and I still didn't buy it. So I was able to find a brand new one on Macari. I have used it since. I was able to find a brand new one on Macari. And for $50. So it was the original price of these palettes. But these came out, the three of these were the first 6-pan palettes. They came out in March of 2018. And everybody just was like loving it. Hit the floor. You know, if you hadn't tried Pat McGrath before, you could try it. You get a nice little color story. Then we have La Vie and Rose. These came out at the same time. And of course, you could tell by the artwork, you know, they follow the original mothership palettes. That's why I don't understand why these are not available, because these are like the original babies, just like the other motherships. You have platinum bronze, You have La Vie en Rose I was about to show you. Honey, gorgeous. People love this. And then the third one, oh my gosh, people love this one for sure. And it's a beautiful palette. This is Bronze Ambition. I remember when this finally came back in stock, my friend Jermika wanted this palette so bad. And she's like, I want it. And it finally came back in stock. And I texted her and everything, and she wasn't responding. So I just bought the palette and then I sent it to her. She lives in Ohio. And I was just like, here, it's something on the way to you because I can't deal with you. I don't want to even hear you talk about this palette anymore. And I've been texting you and calling you and you're not responding. So I sent you the palette. Consider it an early Christmas present because I think it was like November. But honey, gorgeous. Like I said all the time, if I don't know what to put on, I can just reach for this. This is such a staple palette. I feel like everybody felt like this was just a great everyday palette to have in their collection. Especially this is prior to Divine Rose coming out. Like, mama, what are we doing here, girl? Like, these three need to always be in stock. Like, if it's not in stock, it needs to be coming back very shortly. Like, I don't get it. Because like I said, it's after the 3 original Mothership palettes. Like, I can understand, like, maybe like the holiday 6 pans, you know, some of those, because those are like, you know, they're Christmas ones. But what are we doing here? I don't get it. Okay. This one, I know so many people are going to agree. And this is 2 palettes, but they come as one. And people want them to bring this back. They need to just stop playing. They know people want this back. Like, I understand it was a Christmas collection. I understand, like, they said it was a limited edition. But, honey, things happen. People can't get their hands on stuff sometimes. And it is this. This right here, honey. They bring it back. People are like duping the palettes. People are like trying to pay $200 for them. People are like making their own palettes, building their own palettes. Bring back the Eternal Amore collection. Of course, it's 2 palettes. It makes their skull, the sugar skull. Oh my gosh, the color story is amazing. Because even I think myself, when I did a Will I Buy It, when the palette was released, and the way Melt did their reveal, and this palette came out in 2019, Christmas 2019, and I was just like, oh, I just want this one because it was such an interesting color story and I didn't have anything like this in my collection. And you're like, okay, but then, you know, when they sent the next reveal picture, it's like, oh, you see this. And you're like, okay. But nobody knew they were like this until they finally released the story. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to Melt. They be following through on the package. Do you see how it's magnetized? Yes! That's, okay, side note, tangent. Maybe I should save it for another day. I was going to talk about the brunette palette, but I'll save it for another day. Anywho, they need to bring this on back. Like, this is Vita. Oh, my gosh. Like, ooh. So pretty. This color story is everything. The palette, the whole vibe of this collection is just everything. I mean, they knocked it out the park with this. And I just think it's a real shame that a lot of people can't get their hands on this palette. So, those are the 7-ish palettes I had to talk about that I hope come back. They're limited edition. Of course, I understand the concept of limited edition. How can we not? You know, you need to kind of get things when they're hot, when they're right there, because we can't always guarantee for some of them to be there. But sometimes that's just not the case with everything. And people don't have infinite amounts of money. And people are just kind of new to the makeup scene. And they see things that are older and they want them in their collection. And it's just the makeup enthusiasts in us. Because I have been there, apparently, because I'm still over here with this Deep Sea Luster palette. And, while we're also talking about things like, if Mama, McGrath, Mother, are you going to bring back the bomber jacket? Like, I had to be an adult, too, when that came back in stock. So, I need that in my life, okay? I've just come to realize it don't matter how many bills I have. At the time when that comes back into stock, I'm buying it. I don't care if I have to eat, like, my poor man's dinner for whatever, like, which is broccoli, rice, and cheese. Is very good. I used to eat it in college with a little seasoned salt. That was my poor man's dinner in college. But the point is, I would try to buy it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below what got away, what is limited edition. Like, this is not everything that's been a limited edition. You know, there's so many things that have been limited edition. Nobody's really checking for this brand anymore, but I just remember, like, everybody talked about the Kat Von D La Vida Loca palette, that circular one and everything. But I mean, I think it was just fun. It was a great idea that I was given when I showed this video, and that palette. It's all in fun, but I really do hope some of these things really come back. Like, all of these, I actually do really hope. And the alien, like, come on, girl. Bring it back. And mama, well, you know, I feel that about all of these. But, you know, don't take it too seriously. But I hope the makeup collector and the makeup enthusiast in me, and the one that just wants everybody to enjoy stuff, really hopes that these things can come back so everybody else can enjoy them. So with all of that being said, because I probably repeated myself, I don't know how many times, but you guys get the point by now. Hit the notification bell so you know when I come out with another video, which will be very, very soon. Hit the like button, hit that thumbs up button for me, and please subscribe to my channel, because you know I would love to have you here in my little makeup family. And with all of that being said, you already know what time it is. It's time for the chair dance, chair dance. Hey, 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 chair dance. Chair dance. Chair dance. Chair dance. Chair dance. All right, y'all. Bye.